All right, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. It has been an offseason of change for the Cowboys. Coach Schottenheimer's done a phenomenal job. But as we've worked our way through OTAs, and a lot of news has come out in terms of what new Cowboys are doing great, what guys are stepping up, guys coming off of injury. There was kind of an under the radar move that Schottenheimer made that I think is really important that will help out this offense and certainly Dak Prescott. We'll get to that report and just some interesting data on the other side. But first, I'm Nick. That is Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, we talked about it, this being an offseason of change for Dallas, and that has continued at the tactical level. We know their roster and coaching staff, major upheaval, but when you actually look at the X's and O's and the execution of plays, we're going to see a major change. Let's get into the report here if anyone hasn't heard this already. Then we'll get into the data. Very interesting on the other side. This is courtesy of John Machota, who follows and covers the Cowboys at The Athletic. He said, Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer said they are making changes to the cadence. Sounds like there will be no more here we go. So for anyone who watches the Cowboys, which I'm assuming most people have, there is that, of course, famous cadence with Dak Prescott with the "here we go," that's how he did it last couple of years under Mike McCarthy. That's how we did it. It was kind of fun, kind of interesting, kind of different. But did it actually help the Cowboys and their offense at all? Well, when you look at the data, it gets very interesting. Let's pull up the chart here, talking about the Dak Prescott sack percentage going from 2019 all the way all through last season. And you can see from 19 through 22, when he had a normal cadence, like a normal quarterback, it basically oscillated between 5 and 4 roughly, right? 4%, 5% sack percentage. But starting with 2023, and then even more so in 2024, sack percentage took a massive leap the moment he started using this cadence. The question is why? Did Dak Prescott get worse at holding onto the football? I don't think so. Did the Cowboys offense get much more aggressive throwing the ball deep down the field and he hung in the pocket? No. Mike McCarthy's famous Texas Coast offense was much quicker at throws, get the ball out of his hands quicker, get the ball in the hands of guys like CeeDee Lamb, right? The reality is, I think this data shows it, that teams, opposing defenses, were able to essentially, anticipate the snap count, right? When you have the quarterback go, here we go, and then every other snap, it gets the defense kind of like, okay, we can time it up, we can figure out the rhythm and all that. We know the time it takes to say the words, here we go, in that cadence, and then the set hike, and then it just gives their ability to just get off the ball with reckless abandon. And I think that hurt this Cowboys offense. We saw it in a lot of key moments, Dak Prescott having to take sacks or throw it away, key third downs in the red zone over the course of the past 2 seasons. They made the change in cadence to just kind of make it easier for rhythm and flow for the quarterback position. But my honest opinion is the best thing to help a quarterback's rhythm and flow is to not have him getting killed by pass rushers who know the snap count. Talk to any offensive lineman, and they say that best, really the 2 weapons they have as an offensive lineman is, one, you know the play, but assuming it's third and long, everyone knows it's going to be a pass. Number 2, you know the snap count. This cadence essentially took out the second best tool the Dallas Cowboys, offensive linemen had over the past 2 seasons. That has gone completely in their favor now. They're getting rid of the cadence. This is exactly kind of the smart football-minded move we've expected from Coach Schottenheimer up to this point, and I think this is exactly why he was promoted. It's getting rid of just this weird kind of crazy stuff that Mike McCarthy liked to do. We saw it a bunch of times, all kinds of weird things, the fake punts, all this kind of thing that kept going on, right? This is simple X's and O's, get back to basics, make life easier for your quarterback and your offense, not harder. Love this move. Great strategy by Dallas. All right, Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. But first, Cowboys fans, in the comment section below, as we are getting closer to the season and we're looking at this offense and we're looking at a healthier Dak Prescott, of course, recovering from his injury, looking really good up to this point. What's one area of concern you currently have with Dallas? I know a lot of people look at the running back position. That's valid. Maybe it's another position group. Is it linebacker? Overshown's injury, that's an overhang. How about cornerback? What's going on there with the injuries and the depth there? What's one position group that's got you really concerned at this point for the Cowboys? Let us know in the comment section. But Mize, over to you now. What are your thoughts on Coach Schottenheimer's move here and just the overall strategy we're seeing in Dallas?
Yeah, Nick, and I think first and foremost, something that people probably bring up and, say, and I want to go ahead and squash it, put it to bed. I did my due diligence. I looked it up. The pass blocking from 2022 to 2023, the grade is virtually identical as far as 69.1 pass blocking grade in 2022, 69.5 pass blocking grade in 2023. I think is still in the mid 60s in 2024 as well. So it wasn't the level of play of the offensive line necessarily that's causing this. So I do think there is something to be said about having a cadence as such that's a little bit predictable, I think that gives guys the edge. Just like you said, there's very few edges you get as an offensive lineman. Playing offensive line is very tough position. I think the pass rush game is way more slanted towards the defense. There's a lot of opportunities for them to get by you. It's really tough to hold them. So if there's even a slight edge, if you're starting to give odds to the defense even more, just the littlest things, it's probably not going to be a huge spike, but I think we're going to see a difference, and that's all it takes. I think the Cowboys have been on the edge for a while here, and any little thing Schottenheimer can do, it's about compounding those 1%. If you can do 1% here, 1% there, George Pickens probably, let's say he brings about 3% to the table there. Let's keep adding percentages up. Quickly, you get to 10, you get to 20% better team. That's a playoff team. That's a team that can at least win 1 or 2 playoff games. That's a team that can make a deep playoff push. So I think what we're seeing here is Schottenheimer is a guy, and this Cowboys team this offseason isn't a team of splashes. And we've said that this entire offseason. But what they've done is incrementally done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little things here or there over the offseason. Free agent additions give you better depth, bring in guys who are really good at one thing in particular. Just they've built this team incrementally better. There's not really one thing that you can look at to say, all right, this is that. Oh, I take that back. I think George Pickens is probably a big move. So if anyone wants splash move, George Pickens, there you go. But other than that, overall, the entirety of the offseason, there's a lot of incremental stuff. There's not really anything you look at to say, hey, this is going to put us over the edge. But if you look at all of the moves combined, to me, that's what's doing it. And this is another one in that quiver, another arrow in the incremental quiver of Schottenheimer. Say, hey, let's just keep improving. Let's keep looking. Overall, we're pretty good. We're almost there. Prescott's looking better. The team, we have great weapons. Lamb was great. This team, there's a lot of good to like it. Who doesn't like Micah Parsons? He's a guy that brings a lot of good stuff to the table. Let's just incrementally just get us a little bit more, a little bit better here, a little bit better there. That's what's going to put us over the edge. And I think this is something that's going to help. And I think the Cowboys overall, everybody's waiting for that one huge thing to happen. George Pickens could be that thing, but overall, this whole offseason, we've seen a lot of little things. I think we need to wait and see how all of those little things combine together and build. And I think it's going to make a pretty big difference for the Cowboys this season.